What's up, guys? Josh here again with Andy,
Hey guys, how are you?
and we've got a feature match here between Duranoth and Rising Storm, and looks like a green, white, black fish deck against a good game Oath build.
Yeah, and Rising Storm is on the Oath, and Duranoth is on the green, white, hate black.
So
So yeah,
he's got his Knights of the Reliquary and his lands like Maze of Ith and Caracas to deal with those Oath creatures. So he's got some answers.
yeah, this is an interesting match actually. I would think that right off the hop that the Oath player would have an advantage here because he's not running the typical green, white, hate package and Kozali Pride Mages and can't think of the name right now, but the double white creature that removes artifacts or enchantments and
Oh yeah, the Relic Order.
yeah, Relic Warder. So you know, right off the start, if Rising Storm's able to land an early Oath, it puts Duranoth in quite a bit of trouble. Now, having said that, as you alluded to, if he's able to land himself a Knight of the Reliquary, and he can start getting some of those utility lands in, like Maze of Ith or Caracas or whatnot, I think that actually gives him a reasonable chance. So,
Yeah, Caracas seems really good here.
absolutely. And this is not a Grizzlebrand style of Oath that he's playing. It's the good game.
So Emrakul and a Blightsteel.
Yeah. So right off, we see Duranoth. He actually plays himself a Savannah and he Green Sun Zenith for a Dryad Arbor. So he's put himself on a creature right away, and he's got a hope here for no turn one Oath, because there's not much he can do about it. He's not running counter spells.
Yeah, he's really got no choice but to play out creatures, so I guess that ramping from the Dread Arbor will help him get to things like his Reliquary, Knight of the Reliquary quicker.
Yeah. And Rising Storm's actually got a Delt on board with a Lotus Petal, so he has the Oath. He can get it out there right now. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Duranoth is he's all in this deck. You can't sit around and durdle and allow his opponent to get stuff on the table like an Oath, because will just be the end of him.
Yeah, he'll just lose to Orchard.
Absolument, monsieur. So,
So
Writhing Storm does not have an Oath of Druids, apparently.
that's definitely good for Durnoff.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of those things about an Oath of Druids build when you're just playing a good game version. It's such a linear deck. You've got to be very careful about taking mulligans to find the Oath, but if you have the Oath, it's going to win it for you more times than not.
And especially with these non-show and tell versions, they're so reliant on that Oath of Druids that it's it's a risk, but it's high reward too.
Absolutely. So it looks like Duranoth actually landed himself a Knight of the Reliquary, which is quite significant here.
Yeah, that can just win.
For sure. Having a little bit of experience, Josh, having played good game Oath, back in the day, it was my favorite build of Oath, but I'm absolutely sold that in our current meta, that Shoth is just a better deck. It's so much more resilient.
I think Grizzlebrand is so good. It's hard not to play him.
Grizzlebrand's the absolute best creature in the game right now, I would have to say. I would play that over Emrakul or Blightsteel Colossus in Oath now.
Yep.
It's not absolutely explosive like a Dragon's Breath Emrakul is, but which of course can just end games instantly. But drawing 14 cards or whatever it is you need to do is just insurmountable.
Yeah.
Insurmountable. So Rising Storm has Demonic Tutored here.
So I don't know if he's got any main deck way to deal with that Knight.
I do not believe he does. Let me just pull up this gentleman's deck list and take a look. But I'm almost sure that he's not running anything. Main deck anyways.
Beast Within was used for a while there in Good Game Oath.
Well, I run a one copy in my good game Oath. It's just too good not to. its ability to deal with plane walkers and stick your opponent with a 3/3 token is pretty good.
Oh,
No, he's got nothing in his deck. He had to have gone for an Oath of Druids, of course. That would be my guess. He's got no removal. Why would he be
well,
in?
maybe he's going for. Does he have time fault?
Nope.
Hmm. Seems like that would be very difficult to, because, well, I guess Blightsteel
Well, he
can
just
get by, but
he
then
just
Duranoth can just go get a Maze of Ith. So
yeah. He just has to go and get himself an Oath of Druids. That's all he can do. I mean, very difficult position for him right now, not being able to move the Knight of the Reliquary, because basically you're right, he can actually react to whatever it is his opponent does with a Resolved Oath, and he can go get himself one of those two cards. He can get himself a Caracas or a Mazit, depending on what creature he's seeing.
yeah,
And he has no, I think Rising Storm's major problem here of being able not to win this game, in my opinion, is the fact that he has no land destruction at all in his deck.
goes for the Tinker here.
Yep. So Blightsteel doesn't do anything other than just clog up the ground.
I guess right now Duranoth can't get through it, so
No, but nor would he want to attack anyways, because he's got to be able to react to the Blightsteel.
yeah.
Well, there you go. There's another option. Swords to Plowshare.
That's not something you
That'll
see
do
every
it.
day in Blightsteel.
That'll do it. This is now all he has in his main deck is an Emrakul. And an Emrakul cannot
Oh,
beat
stuff.
a Caracas. He can now just sit back on that Knight of the Reliquary.
Yeah, he got it with the misstep, so
Oh, he did? Okay.
that was critical.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really amazing how resilient this black, green, white hate deck is. I've played it on multiple occasions in daily events. I've played Duranoth. It's very tough to beat. Knight of the Reliquary is an extremely underrated card in Classic. It is good.
Yeah, 3 mana is tough, but I mean, it really is worth that effect to be able to search up any of our powerful lands we have access to.
Yeah, but when you look at 3 mana, Josh, 3 mana, if you're going to pay 3 mana in any deck, the best deck is in a green-based deck. You know, he has ramp. You know, 3 is not that uncommon in Classic. I mean, you see things like Trigon Predators and Vendelian Clicks, and you know, it's kind of a little bit more expensive than the average for sure, but still very viable in my opinion.
Yeah.
Truth be told, I actually don't know anybody outside of Duranoth who's brought in Knight of the Reliquary into Classic. It's a staple in Legacy.
So he gets his maze here.
Yep. Doesn't it feel futile, Mr. Blightsteel Colossus? I truly understand how you feel. That was like me trying to beat against Affinity.
Yeah. So we're just pretty much in a stalemate here.
Yep. And he has a dead LOA on board here. It's not doing too much for him.
Duranoth needs another swords or a path to get rid of that guy, and
Yeah. I gotta be honest with you, looking at this board state right now, I actually think that Rising Storm is more or less drawing dead. I don't think he can do anything. With that Knight of the Reliquary being able to get a Caracas and that Mazith, there's nothing he can do.
yeah, he's just pretty much waiting for Duranoth to be able to overrun him here.
Yeah. And that will happen. Because Duranoth has, I believe, a playset of STPs, which of course can't target Emrakul, but it can certainly target a Blightsteel Colossus.
Yeah, he'll just Caracas Emrakul back to hand, and that'll be that.
And this just goes back to, you know, good game O's linear strategy. He doesn't have any other contingent plan for this. I don't know who it was that was telling me this some time ago, but it was back in the infant days of Shoth, and of course Shoth just runs 4 Emeralds, the traditional version of that Shoth build, and I remember somebody playing it at a daily event that ran into a Caracas and they couldn't beat it. It was just that simple. They just couldn't do anything against Caracas. They had no land D. It was just, didn't matter how good the board state was. It was just Caracas, bang, send it back to your hand. So you got
Zach that trouble.
Yeah, it may have been Zach, yeah. But
that's why you have to play a strip mine in that deck to be able to deal with that.
I know there are decks that do not run land removal in any capacity, but my personal opinion is that every type of deck has to at least have one source of being able to destroy a land, like Caracas or LOA or whatever be it. Same with removing an artifact, like it's like affinity, you know, dropping down you know, an ensnaring bridge or something like that, and you're playing good game Oath. Well, you have to have the ability to remove that artifact. If you're cheating on removal in some sense, you're not going to be able to win certain matchups.
Yeah. So we've got a double spell pierce here. Duranoth can actually pay for both. Gonna swords that blight steel, and then he's just about got lethal on board.
Yeah, nifty play by Duranoth, being able to search up the extra land to play for the spell pierce. Once again, Knight of the Reliquary to the rescue. And
I guess he doesn't have lethal, considering he just gains 11 life off that.
Yeah, but he just took a beating from a Mother of Runes.
Yeah.
Another card we don't see much of in Classic. Last deck I saw Mother of Runes in was Death and Taxes. So there you have it, folks. Good game. Duranoth won the first game, and Rising Storm is leading out with a Scalding Tarn.
Let me see a cavern. That's a interesting card. Hasn't seen much play in Classic yet, but it's certainly got playability.
Absolutely. I think Cavern of Souls is such a good card, and particularly with a blue-based meta like we have. It's really good. If we can ever get daily events firing again, I am sure we're going to see lots and lots of that.
It's interesting that no one played it in like a Merfolk deck or anything.
Yeah, it's a really good point, actually.
There's an uncounterable knight. So, oh.
There is the power of Cavern of Souls, and I have no doubt that Rising Storm has counter magic in his hand. Not looking good, folks. Particularly in the fact.
That's another reason to play land destruction. Otherwise, you're sitting on no counters.
Yeah, not looking good. Particularly the fact that a couple turns have gone by now, and Rising Storm has not dropped an Oath of Druids on the table. Versatility, folks. That's what we're missing.
Oh, fire spout.
Hey,
that's a good card.
Excellent sideboard tech.
Oh, that's pretty nice. Gush your hand full and draw cards with LOA. And send your Emrakul back.
So we could be seeing a little shifting of the tides here, maybe. An unanswered LOA is very, very bad for your opponent. So Dark Demonic Tutor here. What would he be going for, Josh?
Well, I think he needs another
Darkoth?
night of luxury.
Ooh,
We see a land.
that's pretty good. That's a good wasteland target. Time walked himself, but good target.
Yeah, I think his knights are his win condition here.
Now let me ask you, Josh. Do you think that it would have been better to demonic tutor for a dark confidant?
I don't think so. It's too
Okay.
dangerous against Oath, you know. He's got to have that knight active before that Oath goes down.
Yeah, who's to say he didn't actually demonic tutor for a Knight of the Reliquary and didn't have the wasteland in hand?
That's what I would guess.
Yeah, because that's kind of, to me, I mean, it was important to get rid of the LOA, but Knight of the Reliquary is the key to this match. And once again, I mean, once he resolves that Knight of the Reliquary with that Cavern of Souls, there's just nothing that the opponent can do. He cannot do anything here right now.
He can go get his fire spout again.
It's a 5/5, Josh.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I mean, a fire
It's a
spout's
Duranoth.
not going to even touch that thing. Not even close. Interesting. So it looks like Duranoth has exposed a weakness in Mr. Rising Storm's Good Game Oath build. For those of you future deck builders on Good Game Oath, remember to put in some landy.
Combination of Caracas and Maze of Ith that's fetchable by 4 creatures in the deck is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Especially when those creatures are uncounterable because of a cavern.
Yeah, it's really great to see Cavern making a mix-up here in Classic. It's such a good card. I have to tell you, Mesa Ith is one of those cards that is one of my absolute favorites. I think it's a very little played card in Classic. I know I've seen it in some particular types of stack builds. And that's pretty much it. I guess green, white, black, hate. I've seen it, and that's it. You, Josh? Have you seen anybody else play Mesa Ith?
You know, it was played, like you said, in stacks builds, but it hasn't been for a while now.
Yeah. Like, of course, Lands
I'm
plays
surprised.
it, but Lands is a non-existent deck in Classic, and in Legacy for that point.
I think it's just non-existent. It's a card I definitely considered running. I think it's good enough to be a big player.
Yeah, well, as Duranoth is showing us here, it is perfect with the Knight of the Reliquary,
Yeah.
but not so perfect if you draw it. You know, I tinkered with it in stacks builds and stuff like that. It's just terrible if you draw it in the wrong situation. You need mana and you get a Mesa Ith. Yikes. So we have a Scavenging Ooze beating down, and I believe that is a 5/5
With Exalted.
with Exalted, yeah. And we have an active Knight of the Reliquary here, just sitting on the sideline, waiting to bring in one of its big players.
So if there's no answer here, Duranoth can just fetch up a fetch land and crack that for another land and attack for
Lethal?
lethal, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I would suspect this has to be game right here. I mean, an Oath of Druids is not going to do it. There's nothing he has in his deck that can remove a knight. That's a 5/5 and going to be a 7/7 by the time he does, you know, cast something. This is it. Yeah, I think Duranoth's gotten through one of his tougher matchups. Having spoken to Duranoth before, he just hates playing Oath. He looks like he has laid this deck to waste today.
When we saw earlier, he was a play away from beating Oath in round 1 too. So
Yeah, and that,
Seems to have good game against it.
yeah, absolutely. But self-declared, he doesn't like playing the deck for obvious reasons.
Yeah. Well, who does? It's a tough deck.
But I think we found, the weakness in Rising Storm's good game build. He has no land destruction. I truly believe you should be running a couple Wastelands and Strip Mine in a deck like that. It's not that mana hungry of a deck.
Especially with Lotus Petals. Alright, so what did he go for? Jace, maybe?
Maybe. That would,
I mean, it would save him for a turn, but
yeah,
it's
that
just
wouldn't do
basically
much.
futility.
Yeah, I think Duranoth's got this one locked in the bag. Oh, that's not gonna do it, sir. That's a good game.
So he's got 2 mana remaining to try and find a way to stop him.
Yeah, he's facing down lethal damage here. Next turn he's got 2 mana. He's got nothing he can do there.
We didn't even see an Oath of Druids.
Isn't that something?
We saw a Tinker, but
Yeah, the Tinker was a nice play until he saw May hit the table.
yep.
And there you have it, folks. That's a good game. He's got nothing. So, folks, thanks for watching, and yeah, best of luck to you two fellas in the next round, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.